right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Something Super Podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Jay.
And guys, this week we're doing the wrap up for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or I guess I should say Captain America and the Winter Soldier now. So we got a lot to unbox here. Jay, since you're going to be our controversial person for today, let's hear your hot takes.
Things that bother me so much about this. I don't like how Carly died. That was some bullshit. Also, I feel like super soldiers should be able to take a bullet a little better than what they were doing. That was kind of shitty.
Conversely, their skin isn't super. It's just like they're strong. I mean,
That's
we
still
saw
some bullshit.
I know, but we saw it in
Captain America's been shot and he just fucking takes it like a champ. He also blocks it with a goddamn shield half the time.
He has a shield and like vibranium. And
Okay,
shit
so he
stop
can
it.
move quick enough to stop it with a shield, but she can't dive out the fucking way.
I mean, if we're going straight based on speed versus bullets, Quicksilver.
Yeah, you're right.
Throwing that
That was
out
some
there.
bullshit too, but
And to be fair,
we got way past that.
Cap knew
Yeah.
that people were shooting at him. Carly was having a conversation with Falcon and got shot from like behind a fucking barrel or behind a box.
Still,
like,
that's some bullshit how they took her out. That needed to end, I feel like, in such a better manner.
I agree. They could have tied up that loose end a little better, but
Also, second, the super soldiers that got caught by Sam or by Bucky and John.
mhm.
Little shocked they went down without a fight.
well, not really. I mean, they were outmanned by an entire police force plus 2 super soldiers.
Okay, so that means that's a one-on-one fight for 2 of them, which still leaves 2. Which 2 of those super soldiers, I feel like, against a police force, kind of wins most fights still.
So again, back to speed
Not
versus
bulletproof.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
bulletproof. They are still very, very vulnerable to like their weakness is bullets.
Also, they weren't the super extremists that Carly was. Like, you could
True.
see that earlier
Yeah.
on. Carly's like, we need to kill all the people. And even they were like, we're not into all that. But
What do
I
you
think
mean kill
people-
everyone?
One
Holy
people.
shit.
Oh,
the one thing I think, though, is that when it came to tying up that loose end, I think that loose end was going to be tied up more with the original storyline. That was going to be whatever plague or disease was running through this storyline that they had to cut due to COVID. And it would have been a little bit insensitive to have that kind of a storyline. So I think that was a quick fix on the fly. They were like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, here's how this has to go. And then
Although in response to that, they tackled every other fucking major hot button topic. Why not just hit the virus as well? Fuck it. We want to talk about sensitivity. I mean, Christ, we've got, BLM protests and shit going on all over the country, and we're talking about Isaiah Bradley. I mean, if you want to get more controversial than that, let's just talk coronavirus. Fuck it.
Or the fucking the policing, like police having to treat everybody better.
Yeah.
The argument in the middle of the street with Bucky and Sam.
Oh, absolutely.
And they immediately go to Sam when he's right in the situation.
Yeah, he didn't start the fight. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're talking hot button topics, they should have just kept that shit. Fuck
Yeah, they really
sensitivity at
should've,
that
but-
point. It's not like they were like, black people are bad. No, they were just saying that the America is fucked up.
Yeah.
But that is my favorite thing that I've seen online is Steve Rogers is what America thinks they are. John Walker is what America actually is.
Yeah.
that's true.
You ain't wrong.
I mean, honestly, John Walker even got a little bit of a not
Redemption.
super redemption, but a little bit of a redemption. I mean,
Yeah, but
you
when
still
he becomes
see him.
U.S. agent, it's gonna be
Well, I'm wondering if they're
interesting to
going
see
to
how it
bring in
goes.
the Dark Avengers now because
That's-
he was the leader of Dark Avengers.
That's what I'm hoping for. Some fucking
We'll
War
see.
Machine in there. I'm about that. Like War Machine, love them.
well.
Because I mean,
Is this
they are
the
going to
movie?
have armor wars, and that's where I think you're going to see more of Sharon. Because spoiler alert, obviously we find out she's the power broker, and at the end, she straight up says whoever her contact that she's talking to, she says, "Well, super soldiers are off the menu, but I'm about to have a lot more access to
Like
government
Weapons.
projects."
Weapons, prototypes.
And we already saw
secrets.
what was it not Trask? In Iron Man 2, the dude that was trying to use the suits.
Hammer.
Hammer. We already saw Hammer Tech try to corrupt Tony's view of what the suit should be. And we have a show called Armor Wars coming up that's supposed to have Brody. So we may see her more involved in that show as a villain, kind of doing something there. I think that's kind of where they're going to go that way. And then I think with U.S. Agent, Val at the end says things are about to get weird. Now, my thinking when I heard that was one of two things. One, you have the secret invasion coming, which obviously at first everyone thought maybe Sharon was a Skrull, but I don't think she is because she was using that face tech that Black Widow used.
I agree.
If she was a Skrull, she wouldn't need that. She could just shapeshift.
But what if that was an attempt to hide the fact that she was a Skrull and not shapeshift in front of someone?
I mean, I don't know the intelligence level of Skrulls, but I feel like they wouldn't really need it. Plus, the Skrulls are the good guys, so why would a Skrull become...
Oh, no, I completely agree with you. I'm just playing, devil's advocate.
No, I get that, and that's what I'm saying. So I don't think she's a Skrull, but I think she's either one, it's going to get weird, and John Walker's going to be a big part of the Secret Invasion, and like I said, maybe Dark Avengers, or I think this was supposed to be the first phase 4 thing that came out, I think, or it was supposed to be Black Widow and then this. So I'm wondering if that was supposed to be a lead into WandaVision. Like things are going to get weird. Like Wanda's creating an alternate.
I like it.
Because obviously I don't think she's like Hydra or anything like that. I think she's more on like some kind of black op government task force that no one really knows about.
So, yeah, I mean,
like an Amanda Waller figure.
Yeah, my original thought was like Hydra because again, she's like this would be the perfect Hydra cap that's non-canon, I guess would be the best way to put it. But my question for both of you, does John Walker's mini redemption, him coming back, realizing he was fucked up and attempting to do the right thing via his, worldview, is that going to turn him as U.S. agent into a quote unquote, good guy or like anti-villain or anti-hero? Like where does he fall now? Because he's not a hero by any means. He's still a dickhead.
Right.
But like, I mean, Deadpool's a dickhead.
Deadpool's funny at least.
So for me, I think
John Walker's funny to watch.
I think John Walker is going to be an anti-hero personally, just because you see him start to make the turn. So like, yes, he killed the one flag smasher in front of everybody, but I think that was sheerly, he just took the serum. His body and his mind are still adapting to it. Mm-hmm. And like we said in previous episodes, he's not the perfect person. He's the perfect soldier.
Absolutely.
So he just lost his brother in combat, his brother in arms. So I think the soldier in him was like, yo, this is where I'm at. His emotions took control and he was relying solely on his emotions. I think losing the mantle of Cap kind of humbled him, because like when Bucky and them catch the flag smashers, like he quotes Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. He's like, really? So, that was what you went with?
Yeah. So like he quotes Abraham Lincoln. You see when it's either take out Carly now or to save the hostages. And he even like kind of like shakes his head, like his mind saying like, go after Carly. And he's kind of having that inner struggle. And he chooses to try to save the people. So for me, I think he's going to be more of a whatever fits him better at the time of whatever he's in the middle of. But I don't see him being like a Thanos or an Ultron or like I don't see him being a threat.
No, he's not a big bad. Like I wouldn't give him that title. And that's mostly because he was easily taken down by at this point, I mean, yes, he's Captain America, but like they were two sidekicks.
Right.
So
I mean, that's just kind of me. I think he's going to go more the anti-hero route. What about you, Jed?
I don't think he could ever go back to a hero route. Like just
the public
personality. Image. Yeah, well, public image doesn't help, but even with that, like everybody could be redeemed. We see that all through all the comic books. Like Tony Stark's a dickhead through most of the first Iron Man, and just kind of like you see him just go up through the movies, and he he becomes the Tony who's willing to sacrifice himself to save everybody else. But
Yes. So,
but still, I don't think John has the personality for that, or like the internal like mental
Moral
capacity.
compass.
Yeah, moral compass to be that person. Like, I feel like he'd be willing to sacrifice himself, but it would be for like his
Glory.
friends, not for like the world.
no, see, I think John Walker's the type of person who, again, and I'll quote it a million times until I fucking die, because it is probably the thing that rings the most true when it comes to the super soldier serum. Good becomes great, bad becomes worse. So yes, while John Walker is a decorated war hero, he is a good man. He's not a great man, and he will never be a great man because he's the perfect soldier. So again, like I told you guys earlier, I don't know why I decided to restart the fucking Avengers series, but I was like, fuck it, why not? Here we are. And started watching Captain America just because.
Shits and giggles.
Fuck it, why not? I got time. So rewatching it, and just again, with all the knowledge that I have now going back, Captain America, well, I guess Steve Rogers, when he was first signing up for the army, they asked him, like, do you want to kill Nazis? He's like, I don't want to kill anybody. That right there, like the initial switch was flipped in my mind. I was like, that makes him unworthy of holding Mjolnir because you're not willing to kill. Then him and the Howling Commando is busting through the door, fucking 1911s in hand, blasting motherfuckers in the face. I was like, all right, cool. And then you slowly see him turn from like the dude that's kicking down doors and being a badass to like the symbol of America throughout the Avengers movies, like when they stalled from the ice, etc. And I think, again, like I said, he has a fairly decent character arc. We obviously went through that a couple episodes ago, but that's why I think Sam, at least in the MCU, was chosen to be Captain America. Sam doesn't want to kill people. Sam wants to be, he doesn't like bullies. You know, he's the same person that Steve Rogers was. He is a good person. Conversely, it's also why I don't like him. And don't get me wrong, love Sam. But between him and the Winter Soldier, I'm going to pick Bucky 10 out of 10 times. Sorry, I don't even know what the fucking the track I'm on as far as my brain train goes right now. But that's what I thought of. I was like, Sam is Steve Rogers. He wants to help people. He's there to do what's right. He's the fucking Boy Scout. Bucky, yeah, he went from mass murderer to bringing cake to the party, but he is 110% a more interesting character. Also, I was reading through like old Captain America comics, and Bucky used to be like a child compared to Steve in the comics. He was like his young sidekick, like Robin.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I'm glad they didn't do that, because I like Sebastian Stan's character so much better. Jay, you look confused. You all right? So, as far as other shit that happened in the finale, Sam gets his new suit, which is fucking awesome. Comic accurate suit, which I was a huge fan of. I've seen a lot of controversy on the internet about it, but like, it's damn near as close as you're going to get to the comics without literally being the comic. So what are your thoughts on it, Mark?
So, I mean, me personally, I like the suit because it now shows the contrast to at the beginning of the series. Obviously, you know, we have the new Captain America. It's John Walker, and his suit is kind of the same as Steve's, just a little bit altered. Like, you know, obviously, like the chest plate's different, but it's the same color scheme somewhat. But one of the biggest things with that suit was in the red, white, and blue in the flag for America, The white stands for purity, which, as you now know, since we've all watched the entire series, John Walker has almost zero of. So now, for me, I see Sam as, this isn't a negative statement towards Sam because I know I've bashed him a lot in these episodes, but
hater.
I'm not a hater, but I think Sam is everything Cap wasn't and more. So where Cap was a super soldier, Sam's not. And you see that shown physically multiple times. Like when he's fighting Carly, Carly punches the shield and immediately his wings dig in to stop him from moving. Like when he's fighting I can't say his name.
Bartok? Batroc, whatever the fuck his name is.
Batroc. When he's fighting George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
When he's fighting GSP, Cap probably would have just kicked him out of a window. As to where Sam used like his booster to kind of give him the momentum to fight him. So for me, I think in a good way, Sam's everything Cap is like wasn't. So they're both still moral high ground people. Like the speech he gives at the end, he's like, they're like, I don't think you'd understand. He's like, I'm a black man wearing the red, white, and blue. What wouldn't I understand? Like, I think right there for me, it really sealed that, like, and even earlier on when you had that conversation with Zemo, and Zemo literally was like, he's like, Sam, were you ever offered the serum? And would you take it? And immediately, like, without even thinking, Sam's like, no, like, I don't want it. Like, that's not me. So, like, that just shows that, like, obviously Steve didn't want the serum. It was more of an experiment, but it still just shows, like, what Sam is really committed to, and he doesn't waver on his morals the same way Cap never did. Cap may have loosened them a little bit, but, like, for Sam, like, he's stepping into his own now. He knows what he needs to do. He had a great redemption story, obviously, from not feeling worthy enough to hold the shield to now, this is who I am, and I need to do what I need to do. I mean, he's thinking smarter now. Like, you've seen multiple times through the series where he doesn't go into anything without a plan. Like, even in the thing, when his suit shows that, like, they split up, you see the main difference between John Walker and him. Like, John Walker's soldier first. He's like, oh, they split him. John Walker's like, I got it, and just runs. And you even see Sam kind of like put his hand up like, dude, like, what the hell? And then Bucky goes after him. So, and then, like, I mean, earlier on, like, John Walker just wanted to rush in, and Sam's like, no, like, let me try to talk Carly down first. So you still see that he cares about the other people. Like, he could have easily just took Carly out, probably, in all honesty. Like,
I think so. I think, like, long run, it would have been a fight, but he would have taken her out.
I think once he had the suit, I don't even think it would have been a fight anymore. I really think that with everything he now has that the Wakandans gave him at his disposal, I think he could have easily captured or killed Carly if he wanted to, and he didn't. He straight up said, I don't want to fight. And he had that whole Rocky training montage. You now see he did it for a defensive purpose, not an offensive one.
Yeah.
And that to me kind of like gave me a lot of respect for Sam. Not that I didn't respect him before, but now it's like, okay, at first for me in the earlier movies, he's just there. He's kind of like War Machine. Like, he's just a side character that's there and he's in the background. But now I can really see him being the main focus of a big storyline.
Yeah. And in regards to him being very much like Steve Rogers, again, because I decided that I was going to fucking restart everything over again. You're absolutely correct. So Steve and Sam are both tactical in the mindset that they don't want to rush in like John Walker does and just fists flying, guns blazing. They want to go in, not necessarily stealthy, but like have a plan of attack. And just like in Avengers, when Thor arrives and steals Loki, Steve's like, whoa, like, Tony, where are you going? We need a plan of attack. And Tony's like, no, I have a plan. Attack.
Yeah.
And like, that's I mean, Sam is Steve Rod. And again, I hate talking shit on him because he's like, Anthony Mackie is such a fucking good actor and he plays a good new Captain America. But you're the same fucking thing. I'm sorry. Like, I love his character. I do. I love him. I love his acting. It's great. It's just the same. And that's not a bad thing. Like that, we need that. We need that guy.
See, I feel like he's the same, but from a different point of view.
Sure. Well, again, like you said,
And
he's a
that's
black
and
man
the
wearing
thing
stars
too
and
is,
stripes.
and like don't forget too, like we've had 3 phases of Steve Rogers. We've had 1 series of Sam Wilson as Cap. So I think they're going to do a lot to expand on him. But one redemption story I loved was Bucky, and the way that people view Bucky. Because if you, I don't know if you guys caught it, but when he first, like at the beginning of the episode, when they first show up to whatever it was, the GRC, is that it? When they first showed the GRC, when Bucky gets let through, they address him as Sergeant Barnes.
Yep. Yeah. With the cops, right? When he's like walking through.
He walks through. One of the cops looks at him and goes, Sergeant Barnes. And he's like, kind of like gets confused. He looks at him. And it shows like now the public is seeing Bucky and respecting his service, what he did for the country.
Well,
And
I want to be referred to by my rank for the rest of my life, 70 years later.
Well, and that's why I liked at the end when they give Isaiah Bradley like his monument in the Smithsonian, because it shows like people are going there and actually learning about these characters now. So like, I mean, it's still funny that everyone thinks that Cap's on the moon, but
yeah, it is a fucking. Who are you, Captain America? I thought he was on the moon. Like, first of all, let's take that entirely out of the fucking fact that like Cap's quote unquote on the moon, and that's like a fucking a running joke in this series. Do you not notice that this dude looks completely different than every other person that's ever been Captain America ever? Like, well, you could understandably you could be like, oh, John Walker's just another fucking white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. No, this is a black dude.
Well, I do like that same guy at the end comes up and does call him Cap.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's the Black Falcon.
What? And then like, but like it shows that even the normal civilians though are learning that like it's not just black and white. Like Absolutely. There's gray area. So like if you watch Civil War, like Bucky is inherently the villain. Yes, Zemo framed him, but in the public view, Bucky is enemy number 1.
Yeah.
Right. And now they're actually showing him like that respect, like, and he's comfortable with who he is. Like he confronts the old guy, tells him he killed his son. When he's at the barbecue at the end, like he's not wearing his gloves or like a whole jacket. Like he's comfortable with who he is. And when he saves the one truck of people, when he's punching the thing, it kind of shows that I think in that moment, he realizes that the Winter Soldier doesn't have to be the bad thing that he's making it be. He's realizing, okay, maybe me being the Winter Soldier is a good thing.
So I'm glad you said that, because I agree like 150% on that. And the biggest thing for me that you see with Bucky's character arc, especially in this series versus Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War, anything where he is, quote unquote, still under the Winter Soldier program. Bucky is an assassin, like tried and true. The man is a super soldier. But through this series, like you said, he doesn't want to be the Winter Soldier anymore. So I think he is sort of like governing himself and like sort of drawing back. Like he put a limit on how much strength he's going to use, how much he's going to use the arm, et cetera, et cetera. Like, and then you see by the end, he's like, no, I need to embrace what I am and who I am, not as a killer, but as a super soldier, as a hero. And then you see him start to really embrace the fact that he has that strength, he has that will, and people are starting to see that he's not a bad guy anymore. So that right there was huge for me.
So I got a question for both of you guys, and Jay, I kind of want to hear your take first. So we've seen multiple redemption arcs in this one show. You see John Walker's, you see Bucky, you kind of even see Isaiah Bradley. He kind of comes to accept Sam as the new Captain America, when earlier he's like, they'll never let a black man be Captain America. You see Sam's redemption. Which redemption story did you guys like the best? If you had to pick one of the ones that we saw.
My options are Sam.
Anyone in the fucking show.
Anybody,
Wow,
anyone who
I'm going
I was
Bucky 100%, but that was just because he's just to me the most actual growth through the show, and excuse me, he also I feel like he needed the most kind of accepting of himself, and he's now, like you were saying, he's comfortable being himself. And not just he realizes he's not just that guy who was brainwashed anymore. He's himself. He can do what he's got to do and just be a good human being ish. As good as Bucky is.
Yeah.
All right. I have a different character. So I love Bucky. Again, one of my favorite characters thus far in the MCU. My favorite character arc is Zemo. And that's because up until now, he has been vilified as this monster who only wants to kill super soldiers and this, that, and the other. And I get he still doesn't like super soldiers, but he put his differences aside and worked with Bucky for a common good, which was taking down Carly and the Flag Smashers. And not only that, he had the opportunity numerous times throughout the series to just turn and be like, nah, fuck you guys, I'm out. Or even kill them. I mean, Christ, when they were finding the super soldier, the scientist that made the serum, he found the gun in the lab. He could have just shot everybody and been like, oh, nope, they got killed by the scientists, sorry. But he stayed. And they thought he ran, but he comes back with the car. And I mean, again, it just shows his growth as a person. Obviously, in the end, he did run, but he was met at the Sokovian, the monument. But I think that was also the plan. He was waiting there because he knew that Bucky or Sam would show up eventually.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I'm glad you said that because that kind of segues me into something that I kind of picked up on and what I think. So as we mentioned earlier, his butler's the one that kills the other Flag Smashers. He bombs the truck that they're in. And before we got on here, Steve, I know you made the comment, yeah, he's even killing people from prison. I don't think that's what it was. So I think he's been working with Val.
Okay.
What's her name? Valentina.
Tessa Valentina DiCrescenza.
Julia Louise Dreyfus. Yeah. So what I think what happened is I think she reached out to his butler and gave him the means to be able to do that. And that's where I'm wondering if maybe Zemo's going to be leading a new team in the future, possibly almost like a Suicide Squad, like a Black Ops team that, hey,
the Revengers.
No, that's the worst team. By the way, I saw a funny joke earlier, and it was the three strongest weapons in the MCU right now. Number 3 was Stormbreaker. Number 2 was the Infinity Gauntlet, and then number 1 was Loki. And it's just Thor throwing him.
That's fantastic.
Send help or get help.
Yeah. But as far as Zemo goes, I think he might have been working with Val or had some kind of contact with her as kind of another way out, because obviously, he's now on the raft, which is overseen by Thunderbolt Ross. There is a group called the Thunderbolts that involves Zemo, Red Hulk, which is Thunderbolt Ross, and all these other anti-villains. And I'm wondering if maybe we might get that kind of a team up or a group later on. But what I'm really interested in is where they take Sharon. I want to know who she was talking to, because she could be a link to AIM. She could be a link to Hydra. She could be a link to the 10 Rings. I mean, Sony just signed on to bring the Spider-Man movies over to Disney, and they have a short-term contract. We could be getting, maybe she's talking to Norman Osborn, who runs Oscorp. Because if you look at a lot of the tech that Sharon gave the Flag Smashers, the one was the bomb that when or the smoke grenade that when they roll it in, it's a small circular object. It opens up. It has the green lining, kind of like the pumpkin bombs from the Green Goblin.
I feel you.
You have the locks that they put on the doors. It has, the 8 legs that could kind of maybe be a Easter egg to, we know Doc Ock's going to be coming out. And I know that I forget the actor that plays him, but he just kind of opened up a little bit about what his role is going to be in the Spider-Man movie as Doc Ock. And I think he said it's going to take right after Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. So maybe they're laying these Easter eggs to possible Spider-Man villains that we might be getting. And maybe these are stuff that we're going to see later on in the future.
Yeah. I mean, that everything you said absolutely makes sense. I am excited to see who Sharon was talking to. Because again, we had talked about this earlier. What is going to happen to her if she's just trading secrets with insert name here? She's going to become an enemy of the state, go back to Madripoor, continue being the power broker, but now she's the power broker on U.S. soil with the ability to have all of the U.S. secrets. Like, they were just like, yeah, like, you're fucking right back to where you were. Congratulations. You never skipped a day of work. Good job.
Yeah, but also to them, they don't know what she's been up to.
Correct. But I'm also like maybe it's just me. I don't know.
I mean, in the comics, Madripoor is home to Wolverine, who we know is a hero. Like, it's not like Madripoor is just like the worst of the worst. It's more of like a run. It's more of a runaway.
But I'm saying she was an enemy of the state and like she did bad things. So I'm not saying dock the chick's pay, but like, Christ, let's ease it in, not give her the fucking nuclear codes day one.
No, I agree with that. But would you really say that she did bad things? I mean, the only bad thing she did was protect Cap, who was an enemy of the state, who got exonerated. Like, everybody in that whole scenario got exonerated other than her. So she kind of got the shit end of the stick.
Well, I mean, did she? I think it worked out in her favor.
Well, worked
out. Now the power broker.
In hindsight, it worked out in her favor. But I'm saying, as far as like, you can say the Carter name as far as the Marvel Universe is probably as well respected as Stark, as well respected as Steve Rogers. Like,
I absolutely agree. And that's what I love about her character is she is the polar opposite of Peggy.
Right.
Peggy is all good all the time. I mean, like, obviously she did what she had to do to take Steve to, she like let him leave and do his own fucking one-man mission. But like, that was for the good of people. Like, Sharon Carter is all about her, which is also like, we need those types of characters that makes this shit interesting.
Right. No, and that's what I mean. That's why I'm really excited, because they could take her now being this figure. Like, she now could be a big bad.
Yeah.
With all the resources that she has access to now. And like I said, literally, she could be talking to any of those factions, which they're all Avenger level threats.
Mm-hmm.
To where they could literally take her anywhere. I mean, she could pop up in the Armor Wars and maybe working with Hammer Tech. She could pop up in Spider-Man and work with Oscorp. She could pop up in Shang-Chi and work with the 10 Rings, or at least be backing or funding them. Like,
I want to say it's the 10 Rings.
I'm hoping it's Oscorp because I'm a fan of both the Green and Hobgoblin.
So I think it would be awesome, but I want to say just based solely on the fact that the deal was cut with Sony after the show was made.
Right. Yeah, I'm just going on what I hope for, just because
I mean, it would be fucking awesome. But
I was just listening
as like little fanboy.
Hey, listen, we got Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings coming out on my birthday. I know what the fuck I'm doing. So I'm ready.
But I mean, yeah, I'm just
having a watch party at your house.
Fuck yeah, you guys can come over. It's gonna be a good time.
Ooh, I like this.
We're gonna do the same thing.
I'll bring Imperial Pizza.
Sandy, it is.
I don't know. You want it on your wedding day. I figured birthday's a good day for it too.
My man. All right, so I guess wrapping up the season finale, like you said, Isaiah Bradley. They finally brought his. They didn't let the world know he's still alive, but they honored him properly. I think that's huge because it shows growth not only by like the MCU, but like America in general, because they admitted that he was alive. They admitted that he did, great things, just like Steve Rogers did. Like, you were just as good, but the world forgot about you.
No, the world didn't forget about you. The U.S. used it as an experiment because, unfortunately, at that point in time, they did not seem as a full human.
Correct, and that's fucked up. But
yeah,
again,
I agree.
Sam is doing everything he can to right the wrongs of the past. Sam is the new Boy Scout. I love him. I love the fact that he is doing right by everyone, but again, not making for an interesting character. Sorry, Sam.
Yeah.
If we can get Anthony Mackie on here, I'll let him fucking explain himself out of that hole.
He's cool. Just gonna make fun of Tom Holland the whole time.
That's call him a problem. Fuck it, let's get Tom Holland on it too. Make it happen.
To be fair, though, Tom Holland is a problem. There's a reason why he has either Benedict Cumberbatch or Tom Hiddleston babysitting him on every single interview he does.
Yeah, because he gives spoilers away by accident.
Dude, they don't even give him the full script. So when half the time when he's doing scenes, he doesn't even know who he's actually talking to because he can't spoil it.
That is probably my favorite thing in the world. The funeral scene, he is the only one smiling because he thought it was a wedding.
Yeah,
and like that again. I'll always reference that because it's hilarious.
He thought he was at Tony and Pepper's wedding, not Tony's funeral.
So he's like, I got the dumbass smile on my face.
Well, he even commented, somebody posted a meme and it was like, Tom Holland always looks like he doesn't know what's going on. And he commented on it. He's like, that's because half the time I don't.
Fact. I love it. Oh, man.
But I love how you have one person who gets the entire script, which is Tom Hiddleston. And then Tom Holland gets absolutely bare minimum to get him to be able to not look like an idiot through the movie.
Dude, Tom Hiddleston knew for 2 years that Loki was going to die in Endgame. Yeah. And he didn't say a word.
I know.
Literally, Tom Hiddleston didn't even have a full script and straight up spoiled half of the second Spider-Man movie.
Fucking love it.
But no, I mean, as far as the series as a whole went, I mean, it was definitely more than I expected. If they do go with the season 2, I still want them to dive more into Bucky. Like, I really feel like Bucky they either need to do a solo Winter Soldier movie or because like I want to learn more about what happened between him and Isaiah back in World War II. Like there was that little moment they had, that conversation where he's like, yeah, and I kicked her ass. Like, I want to see that.
When they sent Isaiah after Bucky to stop him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's why I want to see, like, I want to see more. Like he had an entire list of people that he had to make stuff up to, like go more into that and go more into who he was now that he's not that person anymore. Because I really think that'll add a lot of texture and a lot of like sympathy for what he's actually going through.
So I have a question for you. Do you think that would be fleshed out better in a 2 to 3 hour movie or in a series?
I personally think it would be better fleshed out in like a series, because in a series you can kind of, you get more time. So these were 45-minute episodes. So there were 6 of them. So you're looking, so you're looking 5 to 6 hours. So I think you could definitely flesh it out better in a TV series. But the only problem would be maybe in a movie, you could have maybe a trilogy to where, okay, here's this first movie was this thing, and then this second movie was this mission, and then the third one was this mission. Or if it's a TV show, you can kind of you would have to have an overall storyline that uses those to explain it. So I think it just might be harder to landscape in a TV series because we already know how it ends.
Sure. And again,
but
I mean, fuck, they're doing it with Black Widow. You can give a backstory at this point. Like you said,
they could always do a therapy scene where he's got to explain everything that happened, and it's just.
Well, that was the one thing I
fucking Tarantino the shit. He starts in the therapy session and fucking just goes through his past trauma.
Yeah.
Well,
basically.
One of the last notes I had here, honestly, was like, you guys know, I love watching things slowed down. I love breaking down actual visual scenes, the way that a director might shoot a scene or something like that. At the beginning of the series, we start with Bucky on the couch in front of the trees. Now, the last episode, he leaves the thank you note, he leaves the book for her, and there's just an empty couch with just the trees. And it's not until he actually accepts himself, it's literally a physical representation of him being out of the woods.
Yeah, I can see
And
that. I like that.
and I really just thought that was a really cool way for them to show, like, look, here's how far this man has actually come. And don't get me wrong, like they've done a great job from the Winter Soldier to Civil War to Endgame to Infinity War, anything that Bucky's been in. Every time he makes a little bit of progress, obviously the most progress here in this series. But I want to dive more into what he was doing as the Winter Soldier. Like, yes, we know he killed the Starks. Yes, we know he killed that guy's son. Yes, we know that, like I think it was in Civil War, they were like, yeah, he has the most confirmed kills of any like assassin. Like, how are you going to drop a line like that and not fucking show it?
Yeah,
Like,
I
that would be like Thanos is such a strong guy, and then he just shows up with all the stones. Like, how did you get there?
Yeah, and
that's what I want to see.
I completely agree with that. It's important to give him a little bit more backstory. Not that we don't know, but bring it to life.
Right.
Dive a little deeper into it. Again, Black Widow, one of the characters who helped form the Avengers. Her and Hawkeye were the originals. So they slowly collected up people and brought them back to become the quote unquote the non-official Avengers, as Nick Fury was trying to fucking explain away that shit to the fucking Senate. But
that's just me. That's what I want to say.
No, but that's the thing. We need these backstories. Like we got a Hawkeye TV show coming out. We got a Black Widow movie coming out. I mean, for fuck's sake, we got Moon Knight. Like we have so many of these characters that are just not, they don't have their proper backstory.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It's important.
But yeah, no, I mean, overall though, as a series, what did you guys think? Just overall from beginning to end, was it more than you thought? Was it less than you thought? What do you think, Jay? Is it kind of like on par for what you thought it was going to be? Is it more than?
I was very happy at how it was and how it turned out. It was a little better than I was expecting. And I'm always happy when that happens because from when I saw the first episode, I was like, all right, it's just going to be like them trying to figure out like how they can work together. And it just turned actually into a really good story.
Yeah, I genuinely liked the entire series. It brought back the roots of the punchy kicky Marvel, which is good. I love the action. Don't get me wrong. WandaVision was an awesome series. It was a smart series, but it played differently, obviously, into the original theme, which I guess WandaVision is going to be more the Phase 4 theme, where it's a little bit more smart rather than physical. Because again, multiverse of madness, you got Quantum Mania, all of the higher level intelligent characters that are doing time travel and multiverse shit like that, and that's cool. But what I really liked about this was the stuff that they showed you in the previews, and based on anyone that has any previous comic knowledge, both Bucky and Sam held the mantle of Captain America. In the previews, they showed both of them working with the Shield. It wasn't directly, Sam was training by himself or Bucky was training by himself. So what it showed you was either of them could have been Captain America.
You had to figure it out who it was going to be.
And it showed you that, again, when Sam was like, I don't deserve this, I'm going to hand it back. That sort of led you into like Bucky might pick up the mantle. But then when you got Torres in there and you realize that he's the new Falcon, and you slowly see the series start to progress towards that. Again, I'm not upset with the Sam Wilson being Captain America. I love it. He is the new Boy Scout, but again, that it was really a toss up in the beginning. It could have been either one of them. So that's what I really liked about it. They didn't lead on too much. They had just enough action, just enough backstory. Could they have tied up loose ends a little bit better? Sure, but I'll take what I can get. And I thought it was a good overall series.
Cool. No, that's pretty much where I'm at. Like even throughout the series, Bucky at the one point was like, "I'm going to take the shield from him." Like even throughout they tease either one of them could have been it. But that's really all I got. Unless you guys had anything else that you wanted to add.
Jay?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's really where I fall. Yeah, it's good series overall. I liked it. I'm ready for season 2, whenever the hell that's going to come out. But way to go. Good on you, Marvel.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, thanks again for listening. Please leave us comments, questions, concerns. Let us know what you think. If you follow us on Instagram at Something Super Podcast on both Instagram and Facebook, Something Super Podcast at gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns. If you're listening to us on Apple, please leave us a review. Let us know what you think. We love to hear from everyone. And thank you to all of our hosts. So we got Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Bullhorn, etc. Any major streaming platform, we are on there. Give us a listen. Share us with your friends. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Jay.
And we'll catch you guys next week.